we are going to watch this video because he kind of gives you a look into this issue from the opposite side. Okay, so we're going to watch this real quick.
Okay,
let me know if it's too loud or not.
You've read the title. There's a new ARK game in the works, and it's not what we were expecting. We were all expecting to have ARK 2 this year, but unfortunately that's not going to be a thing. ARK 2 has been delayed until the end of 2024. Now, that really sucks, because honestly, we were all kind of hoping to have it this year. Most of us were kind of thinking it's not going to come out this year, but
I'm pretty sure all of us were.
Here we are. We have a confirmed massive delay. So we're at the start of 2023, and it's coming out at the end of 2024. So another 9 months of this year, and then another potential 9 months of next year.
Wait a minute. Another 9 months of this year. And another potential 9 months of next year? No, sir. It is 9 months of this year and a potential 12 months of next year. Because end of 2024 could be December 31st. You can't say a potential 9 months. Say a potential 12 months, because that's as bad as it could get. Okay? So you're looking at minimum, you're looking at 21 months from now. Let's just say what it is, 2 years.
That's one thing that personally I'm really disappointed about. You know, we've all been waiting for ARK 2 for such a long time now. They revealed it in the end of 2020.
I'm going to stop this real quick because I didn't read this when I was reading the crunch to you. It says, we sincerely apologize for this delay and genuinely appreciate your understanding. Your support and passion are vital to us. You could have just taken out the passion part and changed the support word to money. And it would be the same fucking thing. Because it's not our support and passion that are vital to you, it's our money. Our support and passion is what makes us want to give you money, but that's not what you care about. It's the money that you care about. Yeah.
They shouldn't have done that.
Spring of 2025, probably.
They should have held on to their cards and waited a little bit longer. Now, bearing in mind, lots of things have changed. Unreal Engine 5 is out now, and that's obviously going to bring massive improvements to just gaming in general. So I would imagine that they probably didn't have early access to that. And,
yes, they did. You know, everybody did.
At this stage, they're kind of just like, you know, bumping everything up. And
they released the Unreal Engine 5 beta. Let's see. They released the beta of Unreal Engine 5, April of 2022. Early access was also released in April of 2022. So that was when it was publicly available. Publicly available. That's not when it was available to game developers. That was when it was made available to everyone. So you can't tell me that they didn't have early access to the Unreal Engine 5, because ARK 2 was one of our Unreal Engine 5's flagship titles. It was one of the titles that made it to the front fucking pages when Epic announced Unreal Engine 5. Cannot tell me they didn't have access to it. They most certainly did.
Honestly, I can't really excuse it. It still doesn't really make a whole lot of sense that we have to wait such a long time for ARK 2 now. Very, very disappointing. That's, you know, it is what it is. Another crazy piece of information that we have now
it is what it is.
That we will not be getting any gameplay, screenshots, or any of that kind of stuff from in-game besides, you know, the concepts that we have been.
We're not getting any fucking thing. All we've gotten is fucking drawings. We've got drawings and quote-unquote in-game screenshots. Or not screenshots, but cinematics. Yep, I'm talking in stream though. I'll change it to push talk, or change it off to push talk. Just gonna warn you though, I'm bantering pretty heavily.
Oh yikes!
Yeah, so
By that I mean, let me come watch Daddy.
okay. So we're this is Happy Ripper, everybody. We're bantering about Ark Survival Ascended and Ark 2. Right now we're watching a video by Syntac because I kind of wanted to give everybody kind of like a different perspective on it. Because my perspective is shared by a lot of people, but there are other perspectives.
Which, by the way, we got a new one today. There's the Sabretooth in Ark 2. Just gotta wait another 18
No.
months.
That's not a Sabretooth in Ark 2. That is a drawing of a Sabretooth. It's a concept. That's all we ever fucking get is concepts.
Vin Diesel's in there too, right?
Vin Diesel's an executive producer for Wildcard now.
For it. We're not going to be getting any of that stuff in this current year. So maybe next year they're going to begin the.
I think it's fucking retarded that they're taking the servers down.
Showing everything off for Ark 2. I have to say, as a fan of Ark, as a fan of Wildcard, it's not great. It's not a great song.
So this is their in-game cinematic. Okay, this is all we fucking have. And the reason I say all this right now is because a few minutes ago I made the comment that can we really safely say for sure that Ark 2 even exists? Because we don't have any in-game footage, we don't have any gameplay footage, we don't have anything other than this one cinematic, this one in-game cinematic, quote unquote, and concept art. That is all we have. So I'm pretty highly skeptical about whether or not we actually even have any sort of development in this game whatsoever.
Obviously,
so let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
With this, didn't Atlas do the same thing? Didn't Atlas come out and have like a little bit of cinematic, some boats shooting each other, and there was like a couple of animals on an island? And then, like, that game got pushed back for, like, years. And then when it came out, it was a total flop.
So, more or less, yes. But with Atlas, they announced it during one of the live streams. I don't remember which one it was. But they did it a lot like they did it with Ragnarok. Except with Ragnarok, when they announced Ragnarok back in 2016 or 17 or whatever it was, when they announced Ragnarok, they were on live stream, and they did the best thing that Wildcard has ever done to this day. They were streaming, they were showcasing all the stuff that was coming, and then they showed an in-game cinematic of this fucking amazing looking map, and they said to us at that moment, Ragnarok is available right now. Go download it. And we were fucking ecstatic, dude. It was so good. We were so excited because we were going to get Wyvern on a map that wasn't Scorched Earth. We were going to get these new fucking amazing Griffin that ended up being amazing, but no one ever fucking plays with them because bred Wyverns are better anyway, so why not? Because who fucking wants Griffins to be breedable, right? Certainly not me.
Yeah,
right.
Nobody I know.
No. So we were super fucking excited, dude. It was the best day in Ark history. 100%. Nothing ever topped it. And they did Atlas in sort of the same way, but they just teased it, right? And they said that this was going to be a new game, and they've been in development with it. And the funniest part about the Atlas release was when people went into the data files and they found so many Ark Survival Evolved files.
They found Ark with a wrapper on it.
That is exactly what it was, too.
I mean, and that's what they're going to try to do with Ark 2. Almost guarantee it. They're going to put it in the UE whatever fucking 5. And then they're going to make it pretty, right? Because it's got to be pretty. Because that's like the most important part of a game. And then they're going to fucking like try to push this thing out as fast as they can. And it's going to fucking flop.
Well, so
especially if they're going to be on the Nitrado servers.
So here's the thing, though. Here's what I predict. Okay, and don't take this for anything. Like, don't put any value towards this. Whatever. It doesn't. It is a dumb take, but it is what I, for some reason, can't stop feeling.
Reminds me of a song.
They're going to scrap ARK 2.
Yeah.
They are 100% going to scrap ARK 2 because the funding that they are getting right now is the funding that they would have gotten for ARK 2. Right? Because they're packaging ARK 2 and ARK Survival Ascended together. So the majority of people that want ARK 2 or that want ARK Survival Ascended or want both are going to buy it when it's available in August.
Yeah.
How many people do you really think are going to buy ARK 2 when it goes to, say, pre-order? Or it goes to, say, early access?
Oh, yeah.
Fucking no one. Because anybody who wants it's going to have it.
It's like Diablo 4, right? Diablo 4. How many people bought it pre-order?
Exactly. But how many people were able to buy it before then? None. They weren't able to buy it 2 years ahead of time. With ARK 2, you're going to be able to buy it in August, and it's not going to be ready until the end of 2024.
There was another one that was like this. Another game like this. Hold on. Let me think of what it was called real quick.
All right.
I was really super excited about it. Paid a bunch of money for it. Never played it.
I'm gonna let everybody know in the Discord that we're talking.
What you mean? Oh, I also updated all my drivers and stuff to see if it knocks that stupid shit with the stuttering. It did not.
Right.
Even with just me on here.
So, anyway, I'm going to continue this video just so that the other side can kind of get their say.
Going into ARK 2, and when we actually get to see that, then we'll fully understand. But they do kind of need to show us something at some point this year.
So let me back that up real quick and play that again. So this part, he says about going into the next year.
Into ARK 2, and when we actually get to see that, then we'll fully understand. But they do kind of need to show us something at some point this year. I can't get behind the decision to not want to do that.
They need to show us something at some point this year. They needed to show us something at some point 2 years ago. They needed to show us something at some point last year. When they did what?
When they stopped all the holiday support, or said they were going to stop all the holiday support?
Well, yeah. But like at some point during the development of ARK 2 in the last... Well, you know what? I don't even know. I don't even remember. ARK 2 official develop... Oh, what the fuck is wrong with my typing? Official development start date. So they originally started developing ARK 2. It was announced in 2020. Okay, so let's just give it a... I don't know. Give it a reasonable amount of time before then. Let's say they had been in development for a year at that point. I feel like a year is a pretty alright estimate because that gives them time to get, stuff together as far as like artwork and assets and 3D rendering and get stuff done in UE5 and things like that. So let's just say it had been in development for about a year at that point. So 2019, let's just say beginning of 2020, because it was announced at the Game Awards in 2020. What was that? Game Awards 2020. Game Awards in 2020 was in December. Okay, so let's just say it was 2020. So for the last 3 years, subtract some months, they've been in development and have not issued a single in-game gameplay trailer outside of their original announcement. They've got to give us something, because like I said earlier, at this point in the game, I feel like they're just pulling our fucking legs, and that ARK 2 isn't really a thing. I'm really starting to believe that.
Oh man, there's a lot more that goes behind this decision, obviously, but I think we do need to talk about what's coming this year instead. So we've all known that the ARK Unreal Engine 5 upgrade was going to happen. They teased it a little while ago. Instead of it actually being just a full-on upgrade of our current...
So ARK Survival Ascended is the UE5 upgrade to ARK Survival Evolved. That's what they're calling it, is ARK Survival Ascended. Right.
Got it, never mind.
Which didn't really make a whole lot of sense, and I'll go into that in just a couple minutes. But
they're trying to recharge you for it
a little while ago. Engine 5 upgrade.
Yeah, so that's exactly what they're doing. So he'll go over that in a second. But what he says here is kind of important.
Was going to happen. That the ARK Unreal Engine 5 upgrade was going to happen. They teased it a little while ago. Instead of it actually being just a full-on upgrade of our current game, which didn't really make a whole lot of sense, and I'll go into that in just a couple minutes.
So he is saying that the original plan was to upgrade the current game to Unreal Engine 5, and he is also saying that didn't really make sense. Why the fuck does that not make sense? Why does it not make sense to upgrade the game that you currently own, that people have currently already paid for, that people have put thousands upon hundreds of thousands of hours into? Why does it not make sense? He says he's going to get into it in a minute, so we'll find out.
But instead of that, we're actually getting a brand new edition of ARK. It's called ARK Survival Ascended. This is going to be a game built in Unreal Engine 5, which is obviously going to be very, very impressive. It's going to look like modern games. You know, again, I think ARK has always stood up and looked really, really good, but it's going to look even better now with this new release, which, by the way, that is dropping in August of 2023. By the end of August of 2023. So maybe expect in like October, wildcard time. So this base game that is dropping for, we're getting it on Xbox, PC, and PS5 in the end of August, supposedly. It's going to drop with the island and SOTF, and then all of the non-canon maps. So,
SOTF stands for Survival of the Fittest.
such as, you know, we've got the Center, Ragnarok, Valgyro, Crystal Isles, Lost Island, Fjordur. I think that's all of them, right? So that is the content that we're getting out of that release. Now, the one thing that we do have to do, unfortunately, is we have to buy it again. But bear in mind, this is actually not a super bad deal for players on Xbox and PC. Unfortunately, PlayStation players are being shafted a little bit. You're going to have to pay $40 at minimum for this, but with the...
And see, this is where I kind of disagree with him. I think PlayStation users are getting the better deal, because PlayStation users are not being forced to buy ARK 2. They're not being forced to pay an extra $10 for ARK 2. They're simply being asked to pay the $39.99 for ARK Survival Ascended. Now, why is that better? Because maybe I don't fucking want ARK 2. Maybe I want to save $10 and buy the ARK Survival Ascended by itself. Why don't I have that option? Why do I have to fund your ARK 2 game when we don't even have any information on it? So I kind of disagree. I kind of wholly disagree that ARK or that PC has the better deal. I think PlayStation 5 users have the better deal here.
Xbox and PC players, we're going to be able to pay for the ARK Respawn bundle, which is going to include ARK Survival Ascended and ARK 2. Not only that, but it's also going to provide us access to a closed beta, a 1-month closed beta for ARK 2 in 2024. Nobody knows what part of 2024, obviously, but, you know, we'll see. So that is, you know, it's a pretty good deal. $50, you're buying ARK again, you know, an upgraded version, but you're also getting ARK 2 for $50. I think that's a good deal. Now, obviously, I think from what I've seen on Twitter so far, everybody's blowing up over the idea of having to pay for it again, and I completely understand that. It sucks. But this is not just a pure upgrade. There's also a lot of stuff coming out with this. Now, the one thing that I don't understand and I cannot get behind is we're gonna also have to actually buy the expansion passes again.
So let me stop this here, because he doesn't understand and he can't get behind having to pay $19.99 for the Explorer's Pass and $19.99 for the Genesis Pass again. He can't get behind that, but he's okay with having to buy the fucking base game again? How are you okay with having to purchase the base game again, but not okay with having to purchase the DLCs that you had to pay for before also again? You can't be okay with paying for one and not the other. I mean, you can. I don't have to agree with you because it doesn't make any sense. You either don't like all of it or you are okay with all of it because you're buying the game again. And that includes buying everything else that you had to buy when you first bought the game. They're making you buy everything. It's just as simple as that. So I agree with him in this. It is ridiculous that they're forcing us to pay for the game once again, as well as the expansions for it. But I feel the same way about the expansions as I do, or I feel the same way about the base game as I do about the expansions. It's bullshit. Now, what he does not mention in this video, and I kind of wanted to, you know what? I'm gonna still wait till later. I'm gonna call him out on this 100% because I think that it needs to be said, because he didn't mention it, and I don't know if he understands that kind of mindset with it. So I'm gonna wait a little bit, and once it's the right moment, I'll call him out.
So basically what we're getting is $20 for the Explorer's Pass, which includes Scorched Earth, which is going to be there on the launch of ARK Survival Ascended. We're getting Aberration in Q4 of 2023 and Extinction in Q1 of 2024. That sucks. The fact that we've already bought these DLCs, we got to buy them again, that really sucks.
But you're not mad about buying the base one. What the fuck?
And then obviously Genesis Pass, which I really doubt very many people are going to buy. Unless they fix Genesis Part 1, which they easily could. Who knows? Maybe we'll actually get a functioning Genesis Part 1 for, solo players. Again, $20 for that. We're getting Genesis Part 1 around the same time as Extinction in Q1 of 2024, and then
which
Part
makes
2
no fucking
Q2
sense.
of 2024. Now that we're through all of the monetary sides of this, let's talk about what ARK Survival Ascended actually is going to be. It's going to be an Unreal Engine 5 game. Lots of fancy things here. Nanite, Lumen. I know Lumen is like some sort of like lighting physics in-game. And RTXD, I don't know what that is personally. Yeah, all of those things will just basically make it look a lot better, a lot cooler. Dynamic water is a new feature, which I have to say I'm really excited about. The idea of this is, it's kind of almost like what you have in Atlas, where you might have actual water that can move, like, waves that can actually bring you up and push you down. Water that will come in on the shore, maybe even floods. I'd love to see floods. We'll have to see. I don't know. I would really hope that they'll do something with that, but, dynamic water, if it's how I think it might actually be, we might be able to do a proper recreation of that mod that I made last year. The one that really didn't work super, super well, but it was a really cool, tech demonstration, I suppose. So we might be able to do a proper version of that at some point. We'll see. Interactive foliage is another feature that we're getting. Obviously, that means kind of like, maybe we'll be able to climb trees. Obviously, if you're pushing past bushes, maybe they'll actually have, some physics on them instead of just being able to run through them. Stuff like that. I don't really know exactly everything that's going to bring, but basically I would say that bushes on the ground won't just be little, ghost things that you can run through. You might have to, jump over them if they're, big bushes, and they might slow you down as...
Who is excited for that? Who wants to run through the forest and get stuck on fucking foliage that has no other purpose than to piss us off? Are you excited? I'm excited.
You're running away.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it could potentially provide a lot of really cool gameplay changes for sure. With Unreal Engine 5, obviously massive performance gains. Large bases are actually going to be a thing that you're going to be able to have without losing every single bit of your frames. Another great thing is the cross-platform multiplayer is coming. Now, just to bear this in mind, this is not coming to ARK Survival Evolved. This is only coming to ARK Survival Ascended. So just bear that in mind. So
none of this stuff is coming to Survival Evolved.
You're going to be able to play with PlayStation and Xbox players, and everybody's going to be able to play together. But not only that, we're also going to have cross-platform modding, just like we're going to have for ARK 2. So instead of waiting for ARK 2, They're actually going to introduce this into ARK 1.
Now, earlier I was talking about this, how Overwolf is taking, initiative to bring cross-modded or cross-platform modding to ARK, which is great. And the monetization of certain add-ons that, the mod creators are going to be able to make some money off of this. That's fantastic as well. But if you read this portion here that says premium mods reviewed by Overwolf and Wildcard for quality control and value, mod authors will optionally be able to specify price points for their mods. 50% of the price point going to the mod author. Let me let that stew for a second. So for all of the modders' hard work, all of the modders' time, they're only going to make 50% of the sale. The other 50% going to Overwolf and Wildcard. What the fuck?
Here's one good reason as to why an upgrade would have been a bad idea for ARK instead of just a brand new version like what they are doing. If they had done an upgrade for ARK to UE5, every single mod on the workshop would have broken. And we can't rely on everybody to come back and fix their ancient mods that we all still know and love. And
so let me stop him there, because obviously he doesn't understand how mods work. They're being asked to do that anyway. All of the big mods for ARK Survival Evolved, the authors are being asked to do it anyway. So to use that as an excuse is bullshit. The fact that they are getting rid of the support for ARK Survival Evolved and the mods aren't going to fucking matter anyway past a certain point is also fucking bullshit. So, no. That is not an excuse, because those authors are being asked to port their mods to UE5 for the new game anyway. So they would have been asked to do the same thing had they just upgraded ARK Survival Evolved. They would have been asked to do the same thing. They're going to break anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Use every single day. So obviously that would have really sucked to lose the whole workshop, to have it all nuked from orbit, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's kind of a good idea to not have that happen, because then our base version of ARK that we already have is still intact to a certain degree. We'll talk more about what is going to happen to ARK down the line in just a couple minutes, but that's a really good thing. Anyway, cross-platform modding is coming. They're working with a company called Overwolf. And one interesting thing that I personally have to get behind, that I can possibly see people might not get behind, is the idea of premium mods, where like mod authors who, there's a lot of really, really talented ones out there, they'll be able to submit their mods for review to go onto a paid store. From this store, I don't know who sets the price point or whatever, but basically you're going to have mods that you can buy. Now, the mod authors will get 50% of the profits from their mods, which is really, really good, because you got to bear in mind, all these amazing mods that we've been getting over these years usually are just crowdfunded anyway, so this will...
They're not funded at all, you fucking knucklehead!
They're not funded.
What the fuck is wrong with this guy? You honestly think, like, the people like Orion's, well, I can't really use Orion's son as an example because he ended up getting paid, but it wasn't crowdfunded. And then the people that like Pickon, who created Primal Fear, which is one of the largest and most downloaded dino replacement and upgrade mods on the workshop. You think he was crowdfunded? Fuck no. He did this shit on his own free time. No one got paid for that shit. He didn't get a deal with fucking Wildcard. He didn't get support. Like, he probably put, like, if you like my shit, here's a donation page or or here's my Patreon, shit like that. That's not crowdfunding. That's just showing a mod author support. They didn't receive funding from any fucking body. That makes me angry, because that kind of just shows his ignorance. Now, he says 50% is good. It's not good. It should be 100%. Because without that fucking mod, you wouldn't make any fucking money at all. And they have every right to sell their mod on a different website. There's no rules against selling a mod to somebody. So they could 100% sell their mods to somebody and make money that way and make 100% of the profit. This doesn't help the modder, it helps Wildcard. Now, he said that he doesn't know who sets the price point, but it says right here the mod authors are able to set or specify price points for their mods. If I was a modder, if I was Pickon, if I was Orion Sun, if I was Eco, if I was any one of the number of really big, very talented modders in ARK, I would set the price for my mod to $100 fucking dollars. And it's not to screw over the people that play the game, it's to screw over Wildcard. Because if I set my mod to $100, ain't nobody gonna buy that bitch. And then I can just give it to people. Because why am I gonna sit there? I don't get the mindset. Like, if you are hurting, and we've already said this because we know that they are, but if you are hurting so badly for money, start a fucking Kickstarter. Start a Kickstarter, let people donate, and help fund the rest of the damn game that you seem to be having monetary issues developing. We're almost to the point where I'm about to call this guy out for something. That this wasn't it, but we're almost there.
Allow people to actually make a living off of creating high quality mods. Now, bear in mind, you're not going to be able to submit whatever you want to this premium mod shop. It's not, like, you can't just submit whatever. It's got to be pre-approved. It's got to be working and all of these things. And I would imagine they have some sort of stipulation where you're not going to get your payouts unless you keep up on fixing your actual mods. So
now, one more thing before he continues, because I don't remember if he touches on this or not. But if you see this very last bullet here, let me move my face out of the way, because this very last bullet, debunks everything he just fucking said. We plan on streamlining the process of upgrading legacy ARK Survival Evolved mods to the next generation platform. So your idea that it would make no sense, or it doesn't make sense to upgrade the current version to UE5 because the mods would break, is now 100% bullshit with proof. Like, I wasn't just talking out my ass. They are streamlining the process of upgrading Legacy ARK Survival Evolved mods to the next generation platform. They're giving you the ability to upgrade your mods. So again, zero reason to not upgrade the current version as it is. That's not an excuse.
I can understand why people might not like that, because mod authors will be able to, charge for access to their mods. It's not all mods, just whichever ones, if a mod author chooses to have this, which why wouldn't they if they're making good stuff, and they get approved and everything, they're going to be able to make money. I have to get behind that. Mod authors have been keeping ARK alive for all these years, whether or not you'd like to admit it. Like, ARK has been kept alive through mods, especially on PC, over like so many years now, when they've just have massive droughts of content. Like, I completely get behind that, and I hope that these amazing mod authors, that I'm friends with so many of them as well, I hope they make their bag, because they really deserve it. Because previously you could get sponsored.
They do deserve it.
And obviously maybe,
but they deserve
100% that and have this as like a new system. It's almost like a sponsored mod, I guess. I don't really know. I can get behind that, but I can understand why people might not. I just think of it this way: cool maps, like, anything that Nakatus makes, like his new Dwarven map as well, like, he could pop that up there. Like, he'd make bank on that. It's not an official map, but he'd be able to make some money and sustain himself, and all of the hard work that all these mod authors put into their mods will actually, they'll get a proper payout from it, which is really, really great. Anyway, we're rambling on about this too much. Cross-platform anti-cheat.
Yeah, so
obviously,
exactly.
we'll see if that
He
actually
100%
works.
skips over the fact that the point that he was making earlier was fucking nonsense. He doesn't even touch on the fact that it says right there that they are going to streamline the process to upgrade the mods that are currently in Survival Evolved to their ARK Survival Ascended. There's no reason to use that as an excuse to not upgrade it.
Also, it will be launching with SOTF, of course. There's going to be...
We don't care about
a little
this.
bit more, though,
I'm going to skip
but,
past this.
Definitely really, really cool. And it's also going to be thrown into UE5. They're going to get an upgrade, so...
We
I'd
don't
say
care
lots
about
of
this
things
either.
to do an actual map, ping, and do all that kind of stuff. So, obviously, being able
More
to
shit that
be
we
in a
don't care
private
about.
level, you might be able to ping a certain location on the map.
I'm going to
and
just
say, "Hey,
skip
meet me here," and then
forward
everybody goes
to
there,
the
whatever.
part that he doesn't
And
mention
then
it.
ARK Survival Ascended, or is that it? ARK Survival Ascended? Yeah, that's it. When that drops in August, or whenever that drops, you know, obviously nobody's really going to be playing ARK, I guess, is what they kind of imagine. And then yeah, let's see. So they're obviously going to be winding down on their official servers, and eventually, you know, removing support for certain things like or what is it called? Primitive Plus, split screen, procedurally generated maps, all this stuff. Sorry, it's just a lot of babbling here, to be honest. The remastered version of ARK Survival Ascended will get regular updates, including new content and balance patches, quality of life improvements for years to come, which is really great. But ARK Survival Evolved will be limited to just crashes and fixes, basically. They're not going to add any new content to ARK Survival Evolved after June. They're just going to fix things.
So here's the deal. He skips over pretty much everything that has to do with official servers. I get it. He's an unofficial dude. I get it. But at the same time, you skipped over this whole section. The only thing that you mentioned was that they're going to be shutting down the servers in August. And that to me shows the vast disconnect that a lot of people have with the people that play official servers. Specifically PvE. One of the biggest arguments that I saw on the official Discord was that you already played for the game and you already played for thousands of hours. You already got your money's worth. Why are you crying? And again, that shows a massive disconnect between the people that have played unofficial or have played a very watered down version of PvE official. Because PvE official players, in my opinion, and don't take this to heart, this is just my opinion. This is just, there's no offense to anybody in this statement, but in my mind, PvE official players are categorized into two different places. There are two different categories, right? You have people who have played the game for thousands upon thousands of hours and enjoyed their time and done everything they possibly could in the game, from boss fights to note runs to leveling up their characters to max level to, you know, even raising some dinos and taking those dinos that they raised into boss fights. And then you have the hardcore PvE players. The hardcore PvE players, there's two subsections to the hardcore PvE players. One of which is breeders, the other of which is more or less the ones that started from scratch and didn't have the luxury of having bred dinos given to them or paid for. Okay, so the people that are in this category, right? They're the ones that they started the game later. They got some stuff handed to them. They were given the opportunity to go on a boss fight with some people. They were carried over through map runs. They didn't do a whole lot in terms of making their own way, right? They're the ones that are like, who fucking cares? Who cares if servers crash? It's whatever. I don't care. I'm looking forward to the update, so I'm going to play the next game. It's going to be great. It's going to be in UE5, and everything's going to be different. And then you have the other side, that contains the breeders, the hardcore breeders, and the people who have been playing since the beginning of ARK Survival Evolved, or near it, right? The breeders are the ones that have the biggest claim on being pissed off. My wife is one of them, and I feel like in some weird way, I guess by association, I am also one of them, where we have spent countless thousands of hours breeding and getting dinos up in their stats and getting mutations and building bases on multiple different servers to house these breeding projects, to get them out to people so that they can use these dinos, these really massively overpowered dinos, to make their lives easier. That's the goal in every game, right? The goal in any game like this, any kind of like RPG game or survival game, is to get to a point where the game is just obsolete. Like, it doesn't matter. You can just walk out the door and kill everything within a second or two. That's the goal of the game, is to be an overpowered piece of shit. You're not going to have that in ARK Survival Ascended. Not for a good couple of years. Because I'm going to tell you something. With the amount of time it takes to raise a dino, and the fact that we are starting from fucking scratch, means that in order to get those dinos that the PvE people that are not caring about this change are so used to, it's going to take a couple years. And I don't think they realize that. I don't think they understand that if they want to buy some dinos to take into a boss fight and kill the shit and then get their shit and then be good to go and build with tech and whatever with that, they're not going to have that. They're going to be on their fucking own for a long time. And most people are not familiar with that. And I feel like it's probably safe to say that most people are not going to enjoy that. What do you think, Happy? Did you leave? I told you I was rambling, you fucker. You just fucking leave me? Hello? This man.
What? Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I was talking to you.
Oh.
You sitting over there watching TikTok videos, not even paying attention to me.
Oh.
Golly. You're supposed to be putting your give me some input here with is to the thoughts here.
Wild card can suck a fat dick. How about that?
Yes, but there was a very specific question. So I put the rundown or the TLDR to this is ARK players are categorized into two different categories. One is the people that played the game and got things handed to them and went and did boss fights with people, and people were generous and gave them shit, and their experience in ARK has been the same since they started because everything's been kind of established already, and they're okay with the shutdown. They're okay that everything's going to be changing and that shit's going to go away. And then you have the other side that are the breeders, the hardcore people that have been playing since day one or whatever, who have been, spending thousands and thousands of hours of their lives breeding for other people to enjoy the game even more, and that the other people that are not upset with this are not used to ARK being hard.
Oh, yeah. Well, people are going to learn. Because when they rebuy it, they'll learn the shit.
Hello, Corina. Also, people in PvE are taking breeders for granted for a very long time. And there are very few breeders on PvE, and in case those don't join ASA, there won't be any overpowered dinos ever. That's exactly what the point I was trying to make was. They are not going to know what to do because they're gonna start off in ARK and they're gonna think this is gonna be fucking great, right? This is gonna be amazing. Right? Oh, look at that foliage! Look at the water! It looks so good. How do I get wood?
Yeah, punch trees, dude.
How do I get thatch? How do I make a stone axe? How do I make a pick? How do I stop dying? right?
Those would be the same people that never play PVE Bob style, bro.
Right. That's exactly right. They get handed everything to them. And then when it
Go
comes down,
PvE Bob style.
right. When it comes down to them wanting to do bosses or wanting to do, you know, any kind of efficient meat running or berry running or any kind of harvesting that's going to be efficient, they're not going to know what to fucking do because they're not going to have.
Strikes isn't efficient?
Right. Yeah. They're not gonna know. They're not gonna know what to do. They're not gonna know. They're not gonna know that you can tame a trike to harvest berries because they've never done it. They logged into ARK one day and they said, "Hi, I'm new. Can I have some stuff?" And somebody handed them a Bronto, or someone handed them a Giga, or someone handed them a full team of Rexes and 124 saddles. From what I've seen, the people most affected by this change are the people with thousands of hours. Look, I'm going to show you something. Just so you know that I'm not talking out of my ass. Okay. I'm going to show you something. I've never done this before. Happy knows how much I don't like to show this. But I'm going to show it anyway.
He usually bitches at me whenever I'm like, bro, I got the friend, and he's like, shut up.
Listen. It's not a number that I'm proud of. Okay. So, in an effort to make this as visible as possible, I am going to enlarge this. This is how you know that I'm not talking out of my ass.
Played ARK before?
Once or twice.